This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV. Yes, I am.
One step more. One step more. One step more. Until you reach your goals. One step more. Save them soul. One step more. One step more. How good it is to reach the
Live for Love TV. This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. It's the 23rd day of the 9th month of the 21st year in the 21st century. I hope everyone's doing well out there. I hope the lighting is adequate because it's actually nighttime now, so we're working under night light. So let's hope it comes out okay. Right. You know, on Live for Love TV, because we're dealing with love, we're not really dealing with hate. So racism, as we know, is one of the major forces of hate on the planet that we've had for thousands of years. It's not the only hate. Sexism is also a hate, and all the isms really, when you check them, they're different forms of hate to different groups. But racism is very prevalent, you know, especially amongst the community and a lot of the community that listen to Live for Love TV. But what we have to understand is that not everything that works against myself, yourself, and a few other people like us, is racism, and we have to be careful when we call on things that are racist and things that are not racist. Recently, the British government has announced that it's not going to recognize people who come with a vaccination card to the UK, and I'm hearing a lot of people saying that this is done for racist reasons, and especially those people who are coming from Jamaica. And I think some other countries in Africa and other countries, but not just these countries, but definitely these countries. These are countries that concern a lot of people that, you know, that we know about, that I've been hearing about. Now, could race be the only issue, or could there be something else? Now, people are saying that there's a particular vaccination that they should accept it because it really comes, if not made in their country, it's actually was established in their country, partly anyway. But I don't actually think that's the real reason. And I think that some of us who have lived in other places other than the UK and maybe in America, other than America, need to understand how some other parts of the world operate. What it looks to me, and this is just my personal view, to me is like the UK is looking and saying, well, it's too easy in certain places to get a card and say that you've been vaccinated when you probably haven't been vaccinated. And you can argue whether that's true or not. But for people who live in some places, some third world countries, we don't argue with that. We know how the thing runs. You know, you live in certain places where you get fitness certificates for your car, and the person who's giving you the certificate has never seen your car. You get licenses, and you can't drive. I mean, I've lived in places where people have got degrees and they're basically one step away from being illiterate. How does that happen? And we're not talking about a degree just on paper. They've actually got a degree that if you go back to their university, their name is actually enrolled and on that registration. And, you know, I've moved with a lot of people and we've had to have certain things done, and people have shown me how certain things are done. You know, whenever you ask certain people, what their age is, they ask, you're talking about my passport age or my real age? I mean, that tells you everything. So what can happen with some of these Western countries? They know a lot more about how certain places run than some of the people who are crying out racism. They know exactly how the place runs, and they know how easy it is to get something without actually having been through that process. And so when they say they're not recognizing something, this is more than likely the reason. And as I said to you already, because I've lived, moved, operated in these places, I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm saying that it's their country, and they definitely have the right to call out another country if they think the practice of that country are not up to scratch. And if you live there, you know, well, it's just the way things are done here. And there, and there, and there. It's all over the place. It's the way things are done. And the funny thing is, people who live in these countries that they have been put onto the list where they're not going to be recognized, accept it. They know how things run there. It's a few people who sit down in their little houses, maybe in the UK, in America, Canada, and they, maybe they, just think everything that happens, they think, oh, it must be racism. Has to be racism. What else could it be? It's got to be racism because this is coming from this country. Well, maybe we need to get our house in order. Maybe we need to have certain levels met. I came up across a situation today, and I'm not going to mention what institution it was, but it was a major institution. And what happens in a lot of these institutions is when you want to get to go into these institutions, they create a situation where the lines are so ridiculous you can't get through. But there's always someone hanging about who can get you through. Always someone just there looking at you, checking your clothes, checking how you look, and they can get you through. And the way they can get you through is because the people inside the organization have put them out there, and they all work together. And they all pretend that, oh, well, I don't know how that happened. I don't know how he got to the front of the queue. But when you live in these environments, you learn how to operate with it. You can say, oh, I'm above that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pay to get in here. I'm not going to pay to get in there. Well, then do that and spend 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 hours outside a building trying to get in, or airport or something else, some other institution trying to get in. If you've got that time to waste, you do that. But the people here who are in the know, who have got a little bit of cash and a little bit of disposable income, they know how it runs. You pay your money, you get to the front of the queue. It's always been like that. Probably going to always be like that, and that's how the thing runs. And so, when you're in this environment, if you're going to be in environments like this, you better understand very carefully how they run. That's the reason why a lot of people come to these kind of environments and have to run back to the environments like the UK, Canada, Germany, France, or whatever, the Western countries. They run back because it's too hard for them. They can't believe what's happening to them. They can't believe that there is no loyalty or to them or to anybody. It's just about money. You better have that money, and you better have it on hand and ready to spend. That's the only way you're going to get into a lot of these buildings, get a lot of things done. And it doesn't matter if there's a long queue or there's only one person in front of you. The people inside these institutions will find ways to frustrate you. And if there's only one person in front of you, they'll make sure that that person takes 2 days to finish that, so that you'll find a way to pay and get in front of them. That's the way it runs. I'm sorry to have to tell people that who've never lived in these environments, who never had to operate and do business in these environments. I'm sorry if I have to, burst your bubble. I'm sorry if some of the brothers and sisters that know these things that go back and forth don't tell you. I'm sorry about that. But it's a reality, and I told you, I'm being authentic. I have to tell you the truth. Of course, there's lots of great things about living in these environments that I've lived in, and that's the reason why I love living there. But I just want you to understand that there are reasons that certain people don't trust the way these systems run. And sometimes they have good reason to understand why you can't trust, as I said, why these systems run. I know so many people, probably at least half, if not more than half, maybe 60 to 70%, who get fitness certificates, or what you call in the UK, MOTs, without their car ever having seen a test center. This is up and down the scale. This ain't just some backstreet brother or some man in the hood. This is everybody. This is the way it's run. It's the way it runs. Why would you waste your time when the system runs like that? You pay your money, you get the thing, you get your fitness certificate, and you're good to go. That's how it runs. So everyone operates that way, and everybody knows that's how it runs. And the UK government and the American government and the rest know that's how it runs. So don't get too too jumpy when people tell you that every single thing is racism. Sometimes it is racism. Sometimes it's out and out racism, but we need to call that out individually as the racism it is. And we have to call out other things as what they may be, as simply as that. We do things differently than other people. There is such a thing as a black market, after all. You know why it was called black market? Black markets are the original markets. They are the markets that came before all other markets. There was no markets before the black markets. But black markets were places just like they are now, where there was no, you couldn't bring back anything. There was no stamp, no, no tax, no this, no that. So they were that kind of markets where nothing could be, you would basically say that I bought it from this man, and he'll say, no, you didn't buy it from me. And and everybody knew you bought it from him, but he'd say, no, you didn't buy it from me. So certain rules started to come into place, certain kind of protections come into place in certain environments, and it changes. So this is the reason why I'm saying that we need to look at things from a historical perspective sometimes, not to get emotional about every single thing that somebody says. When you're good with self, and I did a video about being comfortable in your own skin. When you're good with self, you can look at the individual thing and say, damn, that is racism. I can feel it, I can see it, I can smell it. And that isn't. That's just common sense. And there's a difference. And we need to call one for what it is and the other for what it is. So that's Live for Love TV today. Take care of yourself. I'll be back at you as soon as.